I'm not making any money. This is for educational purposes only. Fair use. Fair use. Yeah, Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah Yahawashi. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners, who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom, to you sisters, you Achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawah with the lesson.
Look at this. Look at this. What are they doing to California? Oh my God. Y'all think that's the ocean, huh? No, bro. This is that fog. Look at this. Look at the color of that fog underneath that sun, bro. This shit look like a whole movie, bro. Remember the movie The Mist? Remember they told us about this? What happened? Oh my God, bro. Apparently people are saying they have been experiencing fog for about 2 weeks now, and we're just hearing about this. Look at the color of the fog. Y'all see that?
You guys, that fog has been back yesterday and today. It's weird. The 2 days before that it was sunny and clear, but literally it's been like this for like a week. This doesn't seem normal, and the temperature really isn't changing much at all.
Y'all see that? Look at that. It's a whole wall. Look at that, y'all. Y'all see the colors?
Type stuff.
She says she thinks it's some type of chemical type of fog. Maybe the way that she's experiencing. Do y'all smell sulfur? Remember last year, like this happened and people were smelling sulfur? Do y'all smell that? I mean, look at it from a plane, y'all. Look at this. Oh my goodness, man. Like you got a whole layer over here, like you can't get through, and then you have clouds on top of clouds. How does that make sense? What?
This is so insane. This is where I live, and it's right on the start of the Central Valley fog. Look at this. This goes on for hundreds of miles across the entire Central Valley of California. You can see, look at that. Miles on miles of fog. It's just a blanket. That's the coastal ranges over there.
I mean, look at the color of the clouds, y'all. Look at this. It's like burning. It's like on fire almost. And did y'all see the sun? Look at that. It looks like a ceiling fan, doesn't it? See, y'all, look at that. It's funny because I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. I was sitting on my bed and I was looking up and I was like, I've seen the sun look like a ceiling fan before. And now look at this, y'all. It literally looks like a ceiling fan. It would make sense because what's inside of our house is a ceiling fan. So what's inside of the dome, wouldn't it be a light with a ceiling fan? Like, do y'all think that's where the wind is coming from? Oh my God. But this is crazy, y'all. Let me, again, we're in a simulation, y'all. We're in a matrix. So it would make sense that somebody is playing God here. But you know what I'm saying? Let me know down in the comments below.
So what the fuck you mean y'all got radiation fog in Los Angeles? Well, they said motherfuckers having respiratory issues and all types of shit. What? How? How the fuck this even happened? How is it radiation in the fog? Who did this shit? If I lived in LA, I would be asking a bunch of motherfucking questions. You just ain't gonna be telling me it's radiation fog and I'm just gonna be okay with my everyday motherfucking life. Fuck no. Fuck no. What episode of Black Mirror is this shit? I don't understand this shit. There's too much shit going on right now, dog. This is insane work. And if I lived there, I would keep my ass in the house. Fuck that. So what the fuck you mean, y'all?
Yeah, so this is Exodus chapter 10, verse 21. And then the overhead says darkness over the land, darkness over the land. Yeah, on both ones. And it says, KJV, it says, and the Lord, Yahawah, right? When you see all caps, meaning Yahawah, said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand towards heaven, and there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, right? Which Egypt also, this was talking about ancient Egypt, right? Egypt of antiquity, but this is America's known as spiritually Egypt, according to the Bible. But this is talking about Egypt as antiquity. But the Lord said that he will bring plagues on Egypt as before, right? This is why certain things are important when you listen to these plantation Christianity and these other people who try to tell you what's canon and what's not, when they're not ordained by the power. They're not an Israelite, and if they are Israelite, they're not the prophets, right? And so you people got things misconstrued, and so it'd be a darkness over Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Ooh, right? And can you imagine being able to feel a darkness? And that's what that fog kind of remind me of, you know. So yeah, so this is Exodus chapter 10, verse 21. So I'm in the blue letter. We're going to transliterate, you know, try to get a little bit better of an understanding. Yeah, because that fog kind of reminds me of this verse. That's what came to my mind. I was like, dang, what verse do I use? And I was like, oh yeah, that's, you know, that's just like the thing in Egypt. Well, the Lord did say that he's going to bring on the curses, that he, you know, bring on the curses again on Egypt, man. So this is that time.
Strong's H2822. Choshech.
Yeah, darkness, obscurity, darkness. This is a secret place. Darkness, dark, obscurity, night. This is dark. And yeah. It's a mystery, destruction, death, ignorance. Yeah, well, definitely it's a lot of ignorance, which things eventually is going to lead to death pretty soon. Sorrow, wickedness, darkness, night, obscurity. Let's go a little further. Etymology.
Strong's H2821. Chashach.
It says to become dark, grow dim, to be darkened, black, hidden. Yeah, pretty much all the same things all over again. And then pretty much you go down here, saying the same thing. Darken, dark, black, blacker. Should I say darkness, dim, hidden, variant. Okay, let's see. What's up with this variant? Let's go to the website. Okay. AI says a variant is something that differs slightly from standard, right? Yeah, and that would be a different type of fog. It's like weird, right? Fog that leaves and then come back, and it's been there. The other dude says there 2 weeks. Then some people saying it's radiation fog. Well, where is the radiation, and where is it floating from to be radiation fog? You know, because I could see if they were saying maybe something's happening in Japan, because you know Japan is just west of California, but it is an island far away, but it doesn't make it where the thing can't flow over. But where is it coming from? Like it's just radiation out of nowhere, and you just say that it's radiation fog? Or is there a building or a radiation plant that's burning, something that's making the fog, or something. It just don't make sense for you just to call it radiation fog without any radiation. But it is a different type, or common type, different, different from what's common, right? Like different version of a product or variation in word spelling, right? Kerosene versus kerosene, right? That'd be different, right? Like spelled, but it's like the same thing, right? It's fog, but it's like a different kind of fog. And then they're gonna go into the CV19, basically the Delta and the Omicron or whatever it's called, right? And this variant, which pretty much, it says pretty much the same thing, form a version of something that differs something the same respect from others, forms of the same thing, or from the standard, right? From the standard, it's like the same thing, but it's not. It's kind of different from what you're used to looking at. Yeah, it's so thick it could be felt, and that's what people are feeling. They're feeling like an eerie feeling, like they're not feeling. They're not feeling safe at all. They're not feeling like, oh yeah, it's just some fog and this is cool. Like people are not feeling good about it. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was thick darkness in all the land, right, of Egypt 3 days, right? Which that's gonna happen too. You're gonna have blackouts. You're gonna have all sorts of things, right? That's gonna be in America. They're already talking about some type of power outages and this and that, and which makes sense why they want to build the 15-minute cities, because maybe they could shut off the power in other places, and then you only have the power where the 15-minute city's at, and now they can control you, right? I mean, you used to the common amenities, air condition, lights, being able to put your food in the refrigerator so it won't spoil. You don't have to smash it and be full and then go another three or 4 days without eating, just because you had to eat it all, because or else it'll spoil. People don't think of those luxuries. A homeless person, you'd be like, hey, I'd rather give you some food. Yeah, you can give him some food, but food spoils, right? In a couple of days, if he don't just eat it or throw it away, he can get sick and die, right? You've seen those shows, was it 1,000 Ways to Die shows, where the dude ate the spaghetti and died because it was an old spaghetti or old Chinese food, right? It builds, so they have to throw it away. Have a refrigerator to compact it, to have it somewhere. Even if you gave them a canned food, why give you canned food? Well, depending on where you at, like Arizona, it's hot. The freaking canned food would boil in the can, right? Yes, and Moses stretched out his hand towards the sky, and for 3 days thick darkness was over the land of Egypt, no sun or moon or stars. Ooh, right? Which that kind of remind me of the missiles, when the missiles get shot and it's going to be darkness, right? Or even before the missiles, huh? Yeah, things are going to be, with the burning of all these different cities, the fire from the cities, the smoke, it's going to be dark. You know what I mean? Then if they cut out the lights, right, it's going to really be dark. It's going to be a darkness you can feel all over again. And they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place, for 3 days, right? And that's ultimately what the elites are trying to do, right? That's what the whole CV-19 was about. Trying to just keep you in the house. You're supposed to be just so afraid to come out. You just stay in the house. Meanwhile, they could be out, planning more stuff, spraying more stuff. Nobody can. And see, what now is people could catch you on they could videotape. They can well, I guess it's not even videotape no more. It's just they can just stream you, record you, and stream you, right? It says the Egyptians could not see one another, neither did anyone leave his place for 3 days, but all Israelites had supernatural light in their dwelling. Right. Well, the spirit in itself is a supernatural light, man. Right? To have this wisdom, knowledge, and understand, it's a supernatural light, right? But of course, the chariots, man, they had a chariot that was above them. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwelling. Yeah. Yeah. So this is Wisdom of Solomon and the Apocrypha, which is canon, by the way, whether you believe it or not. Chapter 17, verse 2. It says, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, which are the Israelites, the so-called negro, Latino, and indigenous American, whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, hey, you're gonna find out. Right? You're gonna find out the hard way. Right? Whether you believe it or not, which that's what's happening right now. They being shut up, right? And yeah, you put us in the ghettos, the barrios, the reservations, right? And you push forth what student loans, debt, and more debt, right, to keep us in a perpetual slavery. And if any of us get out, you push forth a narrative to maybe to try to obscure the thoughts of reaching back and helping your people, right? Which ways of council culture, or even just playing out what do you call it? Was a blackballing, right? Right, because a lot of these elites and these other people, council culture, blackball, these rappers and NBA players and movie stars. You would think that you could actually reach back and build schools for our own selves, right? Because Oprah built a school, but then she built it in Africa, and probably in a place in Africa where her people never even came from, because they didn't want her to do that either, right? Because if you're gonna do it, what you could at least did it in the west coast of Africa. I think she did like Eastern Africa somewhere, someplace where there ain't no Israelites. But well, there might be, of course, Israelites is everywhere, but I'm just saying where there's a bulk of Israel, should I say? And that's just what it is. You put us in the ghettos, the barrios, you try to shut us up. Right? Even with this truth, we keep pushing that we're the Israelites and those people are false. You ask us a bunch of questions, you ask us to prove it, but all these people had to do is pop up out of nowhere on trains, matter of fact, saying that 6 million something happened, and there's no proof, and no one's saying anything. But you get put in the box. You'll get council culture if you say something. So people have to shut up, right? but no questions, right? To these other people, and say, how do you fit the prophecies, right? You say you're a Bible believing nation. Why ain't you studying? Doesn't the Bible say study to show yourself approved? If you're studying, how do those people fit prophecy? They don't, right? You know, you try to shut us up. You try to, oh, well, Deuteronomy 28:68 don't mean that. It means you sold yourself and no one bought you. Well, that doesn't make sense. How can you sell yourself but no one buy you? How can you sell something but no one pays for it? That's what sell means, right? Not give yourself over. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, it is what it is, you know, because we know what it means, right? In their houses, right? In the ghettos, the barrios, the reservation, and in the prisons, or in these countries that we're stuck in, like America, Jamaica, Haiti, Mexico, Colombia. You try to keep us there, and then when they kind of leave out and get somewhere else and this and that, go back to your own place, go back to this and that. Well, wait a minute, man. This is our brother's land. This is Gad. This is you know, the Seminole Indians, which is Reuben, right? You know, Issachar, which is the so-called Mexican. This is their land. Like we can't. Of course, we can come here, but at the same time, we know that this is the place of the devil too. America, the daughter of Babylon, right? Also spiritually known as Egypt too, right? And Sodom. Let's not forget that. Also known as Sodom, right? The prisons of darkness, and feathered with bonds, right? Going into your birth certificate, your social security number, all these other different things, making basically debt slaves, right? Of long night, right? And we've been here more than 400 years asking for justice and peace, but no one wants to give it to us, right? We're asking for reparation, and no one wants to give it to us. But like Apostle Tar said, true reparations is for them to get put into slavery, man, to get done exactly the way we were done. But the best thing about it is the Lord said double, not just how we've been done, double unto her, right? And that's when and lay their exiled from the eternal providence. Oh, Salakia, yeah. Oh yeah, trying to keep us from the Holy Land. Wow, right. Trying to keep us from heaven. Keep us from understanding who we are, because ultimately realizing who we are, the Lord said He will come and take us and bring us to that land, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven, right? So you suffered our dead bodies not to be put in graves, so we cannot know and remember who we are, which will keep us in a perpetual servitude, or under, right? Servitude and under in the ghettos, the barrios, and the reservations for a while. They suppose to lay hid in their secret sins, right? Yeah. And that's another thing too, right? Oh, that's perfect, beautiful. Because that's ultimately what they want us to do. Lay here in sins and not say a peep. Moism, right? Man with man, woman with woman, right? Eating swine, praising Allah and Buddha and Edomite, what they call Christ or JC, right? Which is opposite of the Son of the Most High, opposite of what the scriptures declare him as, even opposite of his name, right? because we know the letter J is only 400 to 500 years old. So his name couldn't possibly be Jesus. Yahawah name couldn't possibly be Jehovah, right? So you want us to lay in these sins, right? Because it keeps you in rulership, right? They were scattered, right? Yep, amongst all nations, right? That's Deuteronomy 28 and 64, right? Which you try to say Deuteronomy don't mean that, right? But we know it does, because it resonates with our spirit. Under dark veils, right? Telling us we're Mexican, you're Puerto Rican, you're Cuban, you're a Negro, you're black, you're Afro, right? Which prove that we have to be those hidden ones, especially for the so-called, that's just common sense for the so-called black man. When you're a array of different things, and they'll just give a blanket statement. Oh, you're from Africa. Okay, where? There's Africa's a continent. There's several different countries in Africa. And what language? What was our God? What was our thing? Because when you go into, what was it? A lot of those tribes still practice being Israelites, right? Or Jews, or they know that which, even though they do it the way those other guys do it, they try to wear the black with the hat, like, yeah, some off stuff, but they realize that they're the Israelites, right? So why don't you tell us we're that? Because those people from in certain places of Africa that realize they're Israelites, but if we say we're Israelites, we're going off. It's crazy. So you try to put a dark veil on us, but the Lord is about to put a dark veil on America. And forgetfulness. Yeah, that's what he said. They put a yoke of iron on your neck till you be destroyed, till you forget who you are. Now you're a GD, a vice lord, a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a sexual deviant, right? Now you're all sorts of things that the Lord never designed for you to be. But those are actually opposite of the law, right? Those are laws you're breaking. You're in sin. So they want to keep it hush, hush. Shh. Don't tell them they're the Israelites. Let them be in their secret sin. That way we can rule over them. We have this thing so we can, oh, we're better, we're the best, we're the supreme race. The only reason why you're supreme is because we're sinning. But as soon as we come back to our power, which that's what's happening now, and we can see your country falling apart. We can see you Edomites falling apart. We can see that you're not even reproducing the way you used to reproduce. So now you can feel the threat, right? And the thrill is gone. No more. The Lord's taking the mirth from the earth, right? And I didn't mean to rhyme, but that's what it is. That's the time. I didn't mean to rhyme, but that's the time we're living in, man. Right? Being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions, man. Right? And that's the things of your past, the ghosts of your past, your formal sins, right? And they're constantly haunting you, constantly trying to keep you in this place, right? But the Lord says we're probably vexed. Wait, let's see. Wait, let me go up a little bit. Yeah, so this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 9. Because you thought you could just do these things to the Israelites, right? And what says, and therefore saith the other one, right? Which Kyries, Yahawashi, right? Going back to the Father, the Heavenly Father, because he get the power from his Father, and the Father's going to give him full power, full range, right? Everything's going to belong to Yahawashi. Okay, if I can get it out then. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 9. And therefore saith the outer one, right, Kyries, which is basically Yahawashi, our superior, right, which the Father, Yahawah, and him are two different entities, but the Father has given him full range, gave him power, right, just like he did when he was on earth, right? He had it full measure. He had faith on the full measure, but everyone else, it says that he gives, the Father gives them faith in measure, right? But it says that Yahawashi had the fullness, right? Which that's what he's going to come in, the fullness of being an angelic being, and I will surely avenge them, right? Who are them? The Israelites, right? So-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, which are the Israelites, who you try to just keep in a secret sin, keep us down in the ghettos, the barrios, the reservations, right? And keep us in a perpetual prison, right? And the Lord's going to avenge us, right? Them, and receive unto me all the innocent and righteous, the innocent blood from among them, right? Dealing with, the killings that you've done, the way you destroyed Jake, your manifest destiny, hundreds and hundreds of millions of natives, hundreds and hundreds of millions of so-called black people, hundreds and hundreds of millions of so-called Mexicans, right? So-called Jamaicans and Haitians and West Indies and Colombians and Cubans and all these different people you Edomites have killed, conquered, and forced your language on, whether if it was Spanish, French, Dutch, Portuguese, English, right? You Edomites have forced that upon us, right? And you slaying innocent, righteous blood, especially when you're dealing with the elect, right? Because ultimately this thing is about the elect on this side. Behold, what means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. My people is led as a flock to the slaughter, and I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And that's this place right here, which is spiritually Egypt, right? So I won't go into that word avenge real quick.
Avenge. Avenge.
Right? Because the Lord said, I'm going to avenge them, right? Afflict harm to return, right? And the Lord's going to return the recompense upon your own head. You Americans, you Edomites in particular, right? But all you Chinese American, you whatever, what are the ones they try to call themselves? French Americans, Canadian Americans, whatever you are, you heathen, right? And even 2/3 of our own people, because they come against us. That's why this is really ultimate for the elect. Or an injury to return, basically it's to return, payback for injury or wrongdoing to someone or another. Yeah, but they didn't. And for whatever reason, they kind of blurred these out, but those are like the real actual things what it would be to revenge for, to take vengeance for, right? Right, this one right here, to pay someone back for, right? That's a good one. To even with someone, get even with someone. Yeah, see? And that's what that would be. Right? Extract retribution, right? Extract retribution for, right? And yeah, come back here. Second Ezra chapter 15, starting at 11, and I will bring them with a mighty hand, right, and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, right? See, going right into it, right? That's the Lord avenging, right, or revenge or payback, right, for you're coming against his people, his children, right, trying to keep us in secret sins, keep us in the ghettos, the vadios, and the reservations, right, and will destroy all the land thereof. And Egypt, right, because that's America, is also known as Egypt, right, which shows you that when it says smite Egypt with plagues as before, it's not talking about the Egypt of antiquity. It's talking about a different Egypt, which is a spiritual Egypt. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that the power, the Most High Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash, shall bring upon it, right? And part of that thing was like a thick cloud or thick darkness that so much that they could feel it, and it was something different, right? You know, that's what's about take hold of this place, right? Yeah. So this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. It says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city," which is talking about Babylon the Great, right? Just, the daughter of Babylon, right? Babylon the Great, that city, right? You go into, was it Revelation 17? So you know that city that it's talking about. Yeah, so Revelation chapter 17, verse 5 says, "Upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth," right? And then which is talking about America. Skip all the way down to verse 18. "And the woman which thus saw is that great city," which is talking about America, "which reigneth over the kings of the earth," right? Because America has that power. They have that the military being in many different provinces all over the world. They have the military spread in different countries, and they have that authority and what do you call it, influence over the earth through their military. And it says Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, that great city, right, which is Babylon, the mother, where it says the mother of harlots, Babylon the Great, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, which is speaking about America, where also our Lord was crucified, which is talking about Yahawashi, because they X'd him out. They basically gave you a leprous, right? Because when you go into Leviticus 13, leprosy is basically Well, it's not a sin per se. If you're a clean leopard, I guess you could be around the camp, but you can't be around other people when you're unclean, when you have leprosy. It will put you outside of the congregation. So you can't be inside the congregation and be a leopard, right? Even a clean leopard is not looked to, especially being, a priest, right? A prophet. You're not gonna have a priest or a prophet be a leopard, you know. You know, that's just that. Let alone the son of the power, right? Representing who he is. And then it says he has woolly hair. And then you go to Daniel 7 and 9, and it talks about the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High. He has woolly hair. But then you see this guy with leprosy with stringy hair, and long. It's long. Even the Apostle Paul said, "Oh, it is a shame for a man to have long hair." Right? So, what's up with that? Christians, these so-called Christians, right? You say you love Paul so much, but Paul said it's a shame for a man to have long hair. But you'll believe in this leprous guy with long hair, absolute opposite of everything the Bible is speaking of, right? Soft spoken. The Lord, it said that his voice was the sound of many waters. His voice was a sound of like thunder. You know what I'm saying? It thundered, it roared. You know what I mean? But everything opposite of what he is. So you X'd him out, you crossed him out. Where our Lord was crucified, right? Not that he was actually crucified, but you crucify him afresh, so to speak, right? As the scriptures say. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues, right? You other nations, you heathen. That's what it's talking about. And nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, 350 years, right? Like 1669 to 1969. That's the time of Abba Bibbins. He separated from the commandment keepers and basically started teaching about the Messiah and us being Israelites, right? And that was the ultimate, the breakthrough, right? The One West, right? And that's the doctrine we teach today, right? Because he brought the fathers to the sons and the sons to the fathers, and it's continuing. It's ongoing and ongoing, right? And it says, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And that's ultimately what you did. You wanted to keep us in the ghettos, the barrios, and the reservations, and you thought that God, the Lord, what you call God, which his real name is Yahawah, through his only begotten Son Yahawashi, was not gonna take vengeance, right? Or he was not gonna render a recompense upon you for that, right? That he was not gonna suffer us to be in Egypt any longer, right? Yeah, so this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17. Wisdom of Solomon one more time. I'm going to skip down to 17. It says, whether he were a husbandman or a shepherd or laborer in the field, right? And, and that's whether you're, you go to your regular 9-to-5 job, kind of give you an understanding of that. Whether you're a shepherd, like you're so-called a pastor or priest or whatever you are, or, a laborer in the field, you these, people doing the grunt work or whatever, or you're a drug dealer, you're this and that, you in the field, You know, you out there in the world. Hey, you in this modern day time, you're gonna get it, man. Right? But I don't want to say that. Yeah. So this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 17. Right. One more time to Wisdom of Solomon 17, verse 17. Whether he were a husbandman or a shepherd or a laborer in the field, was he overtaken and endured that necessity which could not be avoided, right? For they were all bound with one chain of darkness, right? Because you Edomites, you had to put us in slavery. You had to, you know, it says, what did it say? It's in so Jeremiah. Yes, Jeremiah. Even you thyself shall be discontinued from thy heritage. Yeah. You know, so we discontinue from our heritage, right? We all, you know, being put into that thing, slumber, so to speak, right? And that's what we was like dead bodies in the street, which we're not talking about actual dead bodies. It was more talking about the state of mind, whether it were a whistling wind or melodious malignous noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasant fall of water, pleasing fall of water, running violently, right? Because when we got here, you know, we were scared. Every sound spooked us and scared us, you know, especially then with the way they, don't look at me, boy, in any little thing, you get the whip cracked on you, right? Says, or a troubling, terrible sounds like you of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beast, right? Because basically, like, you know, they kidnapped us. You kidnapped us and brought us here, and it couldn't have been avoided. You kidnapped us and brought us to America, right? But you think you're not gonna pay for that, right? Or of roaring voice of mighty savage wild beast, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. These things made them swoon for fear, right? So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 65. And among these nations, right, amongst you heathen, right, who wouldn't suffer our dead bodies to be put in graves, you wouldn't tell us that we were the Israelites. You wouldn't, you know, yeah, you just left us in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservate to suffer, right? Shall thou find no ease, no rest? Yeah, you're gonna tell us, you're gonna build us up. Neither shall the soles of thy feet have rest, right? Because one brother spoke about that. It makes sense too, because you know when you have a grave, they put your name, be who you are. This is such name, survived by so and so and so and so. He was the son and the father of these people. Hey, this is so and so. Their tribe. This is the tribe and the people they descend from. You didn't give us that. you just left us in the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations, and even amongst you, wherever wherever nations that you are at. Neither shall the soles of thy feet have rest, but Yahawah, right, through his only begotten Son, shall give thee there a trembling heart, right? La'ab, your mind, right? Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi gave us a trembling mind and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, right? See? Right? And that's what's about to happen to you people. All that thing's about to, well, it's going to happen to man. But see, you think that the Lord did all this thing to us, and that's just that. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thus shall fear day and night, and shall have no and shall have none assurance of thy life. And that's what's about to happen to America, right? You're not going to have any assurance for life. The Lord did it to us, and we're his people. So what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to have no assurance to life, right? The Lord's going to put a fearful thoughts into your mind, right? And in the morning thou shalt say, would to power the Most High Yahawah it were evening, right? Yeah, you go. I think things can see me, right? Because the Lord's going to allow all sorts of things, wild beasts, to come after you. You're gonna be, dang. I wish it was evening. But then, like I was saying, in the evening, you hear all these noises and wild beasts. You can't see them, and they run by, and you got the fog and kind of like what Dude was saying in that in like that movie. There was some type of wild beast, but you couldn't see them. In the morning thou shalt say with the power Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi BaHaSham QaDash it were evening, and at evening thou shalt say with the power Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi it were morning, for the fear of thy heart la'ab, which is in your mind, wherewith thou shalt fear, it says, and for sight of eyes, right? Things you seeing it's bugging you out. But this happened to us, right? Which is it's going to happen to you people, right? Well, and other Israelites, it's going to happen to you all over again. At that, and thou shalt see, right? And I guess I might as well go ahead, because it kind of goes into the whole thing about it being Egypt, and basically because y'all brought us here, but you guys are going to go through a lot of these things too. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, and that's where we're at, man. You brought us here. You thinking that you could bring us here, and then nothing was going to happen. Nothing's going to. The Lord ain't going to render a recompense for it. He's not. He's not going to revenge, right, upon his children, right? And that's what's going to happen. Egypt is going to suffer plagues as before, right? And you know what I mean? And the Lord, Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi BaHaSham QaDash, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, showing you that's how we got here. Whether you understand it or not, or whether you want to make up some things, it doesn't matter. We know who we are now. You didn't suffer our dead bodies to be put in graves. But that's okay. The Lord woke us up, man. By the divine intervention, the power that Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi woke us up. Right? By the way wherefore I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, And there you should be sold unto your enemies, right? Because you're not our friends, obviously. No friend would put you into servitude in such a manner, bust out your teeth, make you eat, do all these different things, have sex with your wife, you know what I mean? Put you in the ghettos of audios and reservations, act like they're greater than you, this and that, and then somehow you're still failing. You had all the advances and chances to be ahead, and because you're failing. You're just failing at everything you ever done. You don't want to see a Jake do anything and have anything. You got all these Karens and all this other stuff. Hey, it's all right though. But yeah, because you're definitely not our friend. We were sold to our enemies. For bondman, a slave man, and a bondwoman, a slave woman, and no man shall buy you, which means redeem, right? That's what that's going into, being redeemed from where we're at. But you people brought us here, and you're going to pay. And the Lord's going to bring plagues upon Egypt as before. So Kahaloyim, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, you Achwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. Kwam Yasharallah, and Abba Ball.